Somewhere deep inside the high-security control room of the US Pacific Command, a space filled with screens, encrypted signals, and the steady hum of machines tracking every sky on Earth, a single monitor suddenly turned red for just 6 seconds. 6 seconds, that was all. But in those 6 seconds, alarms were raised, phone lines lit up, and conversations in multiple languages froze mid-sentence. 6 seconds. That's all it took to send ripples through the entire global defense network to make the most sophisticated military system in history hesitate, unsure of what it was seeing. The date, December 26th. The place, Chengdu, China. And what rose from that airbase that morning wasn't just metal and turbines. It was something far more symbolic, a message wrapped in titanium and stealth coatings, a declaration, a shift, a threat. Because China wasn't simply testing a new aircraft, it was revealing something the world wasn't supposed to see for another decade. A new chapter in the arms race, a new era in air power. The aircraft was called the J-36, a beast the Pentagon never expected to fly so soon. For years, Western analysts had speculated about its existence. Grainy photos, cryptic reports, whispers about a tri-engine Phantom. But no one believed it was ready. No one thought China had the technology or the audacity to show it. And yet, that morning, the impossible happened. What took place over Chengdu wasn't a leak or a covert test flight caught by spy satellites. It was a public demonstration, deliberate and choreographed, executed with chilling theatrical precision. No secrecy, no denial. Just a clear, calculated statement to the world: we've arrived. The sun had barely risen when the hangar doors began to open. Cameras, both military and civilian, captured the moment in stunning clarity. 2 aircraft, their angular bodies reflecting light like black diamonds, rolled into position. They waited for a brief moment, engines roaring with an eerie low growl that resonated across the airfield. Then in perfect synchrony, they accelerated down the runway and lifted off into the pale morning sky. It wasn't just flight, it was theater, controlled, confident, and terrifyingly precise. One of the 2 jets was unlike anything analysts had ever seen, so large, so alien in form, that the global defense community collectively held its breath. Its silhouette was wrong, too broad, too smooth, too silent. Every angle screamed something new, something unclassified, something that shouldn't exist yet. Across the Pacific in the United States, defense analysts stared at their monitors in disbelief. For decades, America's air dominance had rested on secrets, black projects buried deep in Nevada deserts, stealth programs funded with blank budgets, and hidden under the codename Next Generation. No one had ever matched that level of innovation, until now. Because on that December morning, the balance of the skies began to shift. This wasn't China catching up, this was China bearing fangs. The J-36 wasn't just an aircraft, it was a statement of intent, a sign that the future of air warfare would no longer be written in Washington or in the classified hangars of Groom Lake. It would now have to be negotiated with Beijing. And for the first time in nearly half a century, the Pentagon wasn't leading the conversation, it was reacting. The image of those 2 aircraft climbing into the dawn, sleek, silent, and unstoppable, became an instant icon across defense networks. Within hours, experts were dissecting every frame, comparing wingspans, analyzing exhaust signatures, arguing over radar profiles. But the truth was simpler and more chilling. Whatever China had built, it wasn't just another jet. It was a warning that the era of uncontested American skies was over. Because this thing, the J-36, wasn't supposed to exist yet. And yet, there it was, real, flying, and more frightening than anyone ever imagined. At first sight, the J-36 refused to behave like any fighter the world had seen before. It didn't roar across the sky, it slid through it. Enormous, silent, deliberate. There was no flash of afterburner, no trail of vapor cutting the horizon. Only a dark silhouette gliding over the frozen morning air with unnerving precision, as if gravity itself had agreed to step aside. Observers following the test from high-altitude surveillance drones could hardly believe what they were witnessing. This wasn't an enlarged version of the J-20, nor an evolution of a known design. It was something entirely new, a machine that broke away from every established rule of aeronautics. Its smooth, blended body, absence of a tail, and daring triple-engine layout defied decades of engineering doctrine. No one designs a jet like that unless the goal is clear: to rewrite the laws of air combat itself. And then there was the timing, December 26th, a date that carried more weight than most realized. It was the birthday of Mao Zedong, the architect of China's modern identity, a symbol of uprising, renewal, and transformation. Rolling out the J-36 on that precise day wasn't coincidence. It was a signal, a fusion of ideology and technology, a statement meant to echo through history. The revolution has reached the skies. The takeoff wasn't just a flight, it was a flag raised above the clouds, a shockwave aimed at every satellite, radar station, and listening post from Guam to Alaska. Beijing was sending a message so clear, it didn't need translation. We are no longer catching up, we are leading. And the world, watching in silence, understood. What emerged that day was a machine of staggering proportions, over 23 meters in length, with a wingspan closer to that of a bomber than a fighter. Its core wasn't cramped like traditional stealth aircraft. It was cavernous, built to hold an arsenal within its belly, not beneath the wings, but inside the body itself, shielded from prying radars. A single glance inside its schematics reveals ambition bordering on audacity. The J-36's internal bay stretches 7.5 meters, large enough to conceal full-sized anti-ship weapons, extended-range air-to-air missiles, and even experimental hypersonic glide vehicles. It carries the firepower of a small squadron, yet remains invisible. That's not a combat jet. That's a predator built to hunt, a machine that fuses stealth and firepower without compromise. Every weapon, every system, hidden beneath a skin of silence. But what truly sets the J-36 apart lies at its core. 3 engines. No other stealth aircraft on Earth has dared this configuration, and for good reason. It's difficult, costly, and brutally complex. Yet China made it work, not for spectacle, but for dominance. The logic is simple and terrifyingly effective. First, power. The combined thrust gives it sustained speeds of Mach 2.5, even when fully armed. That means deep strikes into enemy territory without ever slowing down. Second, reliability. In a long-range operation, an engine failure isn't mission-ending. The remaining 2 carry on without hesitation. Third, surplus energy. In modern warfare, energy is as vital as ammunition. Electronic countermeasures, jamming systems, and directed energy weapons demand enormous power, and this aircraft can deliver it without restraint. The result is a jet that isn't just fast, it's self-sufficient. A war machine capable of running advanced radar jammers, satellite disruption tools, and even electromagnetic pulse bursts simultaneously. It doesn't wait for support, it is the support. The J-36 doesn't simply fly, it computes, senses, and decides. It's not merely a plane, it's a thinking engine of war, a mechanical predator built to dominate the future sky, silent, aware, and unstoppable. Older generations of jets need to ignite their afterburners to break the sound barrier. It's loud, fiery, and obvious, a streak of heat across the sky that says, "Here I am." Those blazing plumes are beautiful to watch, but deadly in combat. They glow like beacons on infrared sensors, giving enemies an easy target to lock onto. The J-36 doesn't play that game. It doesn't need fireworks to go fast. Instead, it super cruises, maintaining supersonic speeds without ever lighting up thermally. No flash, no signature, no warning. Its exhaust system, sculpted to cool and scatter heat, leaves virtually nothing for tracking systems to see. To radar and infrared alike, it's a ghost. You don't hear it coming. You don't see it pass. One moment, communications are clear. The next, they're gone. And somewhere nearby, explosions ripple across the horizon. This isn't stealth in the traditional sense. This is something colder, quieter, Spectre mode. Most modern stealth fighters can travel a modest distance, around 1,500 to 2,000 kilometers, before needing to refuel. The J-36, it can go nearly 6,000. That's not range, that's reach. From Hainan Island, it could strike Guam, return home, and still have fuel to circle the South China Sea twice. From Tibet, it could cross into northern India, hit strategic targets, and glide back before sunrise. From mainland China, even Hawaii edges into its sphere of influence. In an instant, the world's comfort zones shrink. The places once considered safe are now within striking distance. Its design also hides a quiet genius, the side-by-side cockpit. At first it looks wrong, more bomber than fighter, but there's purpose behind it. In high-stakes missions, one pilot focuses solely on flying, while the other acts as the brain of the operation, managing drones, satellites, and support aircraft in real time. This aircraft doesn't just participate in the mission, it orchestrates it. Its onboard AI merges data from the sky, sea, and cyberspace, coordinating complex networks faster than any human could alone. Picture it, dozens of stealth drones rising from hidden runways, each controlled mid-air by the J-36, a sky filled with invisible machines, synchronized like a digital swarm. Enemy radar lights up, searching for the threat, but it's already too late. You can't defend against what you can't see. This isn't conventional warfare. It's technological entrapment, a digital ambush executed at Mach speed. And then the story shifts to the oceans. For nearly 80 years, US aircraft carriers have embodied power. Massive floating cities capable of projecting force anywhere on Earth, but they're also slow, visible, and predictable. The J-36 was built to hunt them. With its extreme range, radar-absorbing skin, and hidden payload bays packed with anti-ship missiles, it represents the nightmare scenario of naval warfare. Even the Aegis system, the most advanced shield in the world, might struggle to spot a formation of J-36 sweeping low and silent above the waves. By the time those YJ-21 or CJ-1000X hypersonic missiles emerge from stealth compartments, seconds are all that remain. Missiles scream, targets vanish, and by the time the first carrier realizes it's under attack, it's already sinking. But this machine is more than just a weapon. The J-36 is a statement, a deliberate act of defiance wrapped in titanium and computation. It's an industrial flex, a psychological gambit, a diplomatic announcement that echoes far beyond the runway. China no longer needs to import or imitate. It designs, builds, and now innovates. What was once a follower is suddenly a leader, a trendsetter in the new generation of warfare, and that shift changes everything. Defense budgets across the world will rise overnight. Western nations will accelerate their 6th generation programs. Alliances will be tested, redrawn, and reinforced because China has just placed an ace on the table, and this time it's not bluffing. The truth is, no one thought this moment would come so soon. Experts expected another 5 years before a jet like this ever took flight. But the J-36 didn't wait for permission. It's not just advanced, it's disruptive. It outruns the F-22, outmaneuvers the F-35, and threatens to overtake NGAD before America's next generation fighter even leaves the hangar. This is what happens when a rising power stops imitating and starts dictating the tempo of the future. And maybe the most unsettling question of all isn't how they built it, but when they plan to use it. Because the next time the J-36 takes off, it might not be for a demonstration. It might be for war. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want to know what's truly moving through our skies before it becomes tomorrow's headline, then stick around, subscribe, leave your thoughts, and join the discussion. Because what we're witnessing right now might be the dawn of a new chapter in modern warfare. The J-36 may look like a single prototype, but make no mistake, it's not a test bed, it's a foundation, a platform engineered to evolve, adapt, and multiply. In China's strategy playbook, nothing remains static for long. Projects like these are meant to grow, fast. Already, whispers echo through defense channels about a carrier-based version of the jet. One modified for electromagnetic catapult launches from China's Type 003 Fujian supercarrier. Reports speak of folding wings, reinforced landing gear, and even anti-submarine modules tucked within the design. If true, this means China could soon project stealth fighters, not only from its mainland bases, but from floating fortresses scattered across the South China Sea, the Indian Ocean, and perhaps even the Arctic Circle. Picture that, stealth aircraft launching from carriers, guided by artificial intelligence systems that coordinate fleets of drones and patrol aircraft. Strikes that begin beyond radar range, orchestrated by a jet that doesn't just fight, but commands. This isn't an upgrade in air power, it's the reprogramming of naval warfare itself. Meanwhile, orbiting satellites have already noticed something strange, a new, massive structure rising at the Chengdu Aerospace Complex. Reinforced, shielded, vast. Analysts suspect it's a rapid assembly plant dedicated to the J-36. If that's accurate, China isn't experimenting anymore, it's entering production. That's where the equation changes. Because stealth supremacy isn't only about design, it's about numbers. For decades, the United States maintained dominance because it could build what others couldn't. No nation could manufacture stealth aircraft quickly enough to challenge it. But if Beijing has cracked that code, if it can mass-produce J-36s while maintaining the same stealth quality and electronic reliability, then the entire strategic balance of the last 70 years collapses overnight. One stealth fighter in the sky is dangerous. Dozens operating together in total silence, that's a new kind of nightmare. A fleet like that turns border skirmishes into global chess matches, and for now, China seems to be the one arranging the pieces. The J-36 wasn't built for one role, it's a shapeshifter in the truest sense. One moment it's an air superiority jet, the next it's a long-range bomber, and in another mission, it becomes the digital command hub for drone swarms. What used to require 3 separate aircraft can now be done by one. That's what terrifies military strategists the most. You never know what version of the J-36 you're facing. It could be carrying long-range missiles. It could be controlling a network of unmanned fighters. It could be baiting radar systems before striking from an unseen angle. And by the time you figure it out, it's already gone. Inside its twin-seat cockpit, one pilot handles the flight while the other acts as a mission strategist, coordinating satellite-linked UCAVs and electronic decoys. The aircraft becomes a hive mind in motion, one brain flying, another orchestrating chaos. What you're facing isn't just a plane, it's a mobile command network with wings. So how do you stop something like that? You can't rely on radar. The J-36's skin and geometry scatter radio signals into nothing. You can't depend on heat detection. Its exhaust runs cold and invisible. Even airborne warning systems might fail. The J-36 is believed to carry electronic warfare pods powerful enough to scramble or blind enemy sensors entirely. Experts suggest it's testing microwave emitters capable of frying radar installations from hundreds of kilometers away. Others whisper about defensive lasers built to dazzle optics and shoot down drones before they even get close. And it's no longer fantasy. If these systems are real, and if they reach combat readiness, then this jet becomes the world's first multi-domain stealth command aircraft. Not just a fighter, not just a bomber, a full-spectrum weapon capable of neutralizing aircraft, satellites, and surveillance infrastructure all at once. But the J-36 represents more than technology. It's a shift in doctrine. For decades, Chinese air strategy was reactive, focused on defense, on containment, on deterrence. The J-36 reverses that philosophy completely. It's built to take the initiative, to strike first, strike deep, and vanish without leaving a trace. This aircraft supports information warfare, signal deception, and total spectrum control, both digital and kinetic. It's no longer about matching the West's technology. It's about rewriting the rules of engagement altogether. If the United States and its allies don't adapt fast enough, they may soon find themselves playing by rules written in Mandarin, not English. The US hopes to answer with its Next Generation Air Dominance Program, or NGAD, a system meant to restore balance through adaptive engines, modular designs, and manned-unmanned cooperation. But here's the problem. NGAD is still in the shadows. Flight prototypes are years away. Deployment is expected around 2030. That leaves a gap, a dangerous 5-year window, and Beijing knows it. Right now, China has fielded a 6th-generation capable fighter before the United States can even test its own. That's why the J-36 was unveiled now, not a decade from now. Timing is everything. If Washington's program stalls, if politics or cost overruns delay progress, China could secure uncontested air dominance across multiple regions, long before the next American jet ever leaves the ground. The J-36 isn't just a glimpse of the future, it's an ultimatum. There's one last element to this story, a piece that ties it all together: artificial intelligence. For years, China's defense laboratories have funneled billions into the development of neural combat systems, machines capable of learning, predicting, and adapting in real time, and the J-36 appears to be their chosen proving ground. Imagine an aircraft that doesn't just follow orders, but learns mid-flight, a jet that recognizes enemy maneuvers, shifts its radar profile, and modifies its path through the sky before the pilot even registers the threat. That's not automation, that's evolution at the speed of light. The J-36 doesn't seek to replace its pilot, it augments them. It gives the human mind a partner that processes data faster than any brain can comprehend. In the cockpit, instinct meets algorithm, reflex meets machine logic, and the result is terrifyingly efficient. This isn't just another step in aviation, it's the birth of the intelligent warplane, a machine that transforms every engagement into a battle of computation. Dogfights become algorithms, decisions become equations. Each aircraft becomes a node in a vast digital network, one jet running thousands of simulations at once, predicting every possible move and countering threats before they even appear on a radar screen. That future isn't decades away, it's already flying, and the rest of the world knows it. Western analysts are watching closely, quietly, and with growing urgency. Because if China can mass produce the J-36, if it can field these intelligent war machines at scale, then we're about to witness the most dramatic shift in aerial warfare since the F-117 Nighthawk first tore through the skies in total silence. Stealth once won wars. In the 1990s, invisibility was the ultimate weapon, but that era is ending. The next revolution isn't about hiding, it's about thinking faster than the enemy. Smart stealth, adaptive, autonomous, and networked, will decide who controls the skies in the 2030s. The J-36 isn't just a prototype sitting in a hangar, it's a warning shot, and it's already airborne. So, what comes next? That answer depends on who acts first, on who's willing to innovate harder, move faster, and accept that future air dominance isn't built from wings and engines anymore. It's built from platforms, code, and willpower, from the courage to fly into the unknown before your adversaries even realize you've taken off.